It's good for you that I worked in professional broadcast television for ABC for 6 years. And I did. And I anchored and I did commentary. So I know the whole shebang. When you're up against the clock, you have a line producer, you got the guy in master control, and then you have the person that you rely on. You'll recognize their voice. They'll come in your IFB, and they'll say, hard out, Mike, 30 seconds. Then there's a clock on the teleprompter, or sometimes they'll go like 15. And they'll go like, hey, hard out, 5, 4. And they'll go louder if you're still talking to shut you up. And that's why some people like KV Turley don't like TV, because it is very canned and sanitized like that. And it does happen. So let me just share something with you. No one at Fox News knew that interview was supposed to end when it did. I'm telling you, as a broadcast professional with 3+ decades of experience, and I've done a lot of TV, and again, I have hosted TV, and I've hosted radio shows for 33 years. I'm telling you, if you have good, competent people that are on your team and have access to your earbud, and they all do, then they don't want the audience to know that you're up against a break. This is part of the craft. This is part of the skill. Ask anyone that's ever done it. And it is a skill. You want the audience to think that, wow, that timed out perfect. No, it doesn't just time out perfect. You make it time out, bro. You make it appear as though it was going to timed out perfect. Brett Baier was completely and totally sandbagged by the Harris camp. They were waving their arms frantically, going, and doing this. This is the cut. You know, 2 hands. You get fined by the NFL if you do this, or you get this. The miniature tornado. That's a cut. This is a cut. This is it. There's several ways. He was being flagged by Stalinist people because they're going like, get her out. Throw the white towel in, bro. Drag her. Get her out before he asks her another question. She's already done. Do you have that clip?
Him telling you.
All right, here. This is the story.
Dana, you've been on the other side. You've been on the rapper as a press secretary interviewing a president. And, you know, I'm talking like 4 people waving their hands like it's got to stop. So, Martha, I had to dismount there at the end. There's so many things, and she maybe should do more of these.
Madam Vice President,
and
they're giving me a hard rap
Well,
here.
I thank you for the time.
I thank you for the time.
It's good to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
They're giving me the hard rap. You don't ever announce that you're getting the hard rap. Unless you're in radio, then you do it all the time because we're live radio. Who cares? You don't ever announce that you're getting the hard rap. You say like, well, we're going to have to leave it there. So I've just translated the they are cackless people. Why did they pull her out? If, as Mr. Potato Head said, if she was doing so well, why not leave her there? Finish the job. Mop the floor with Brett Baier. Now we'll play digital media file number 5. Well, no, number 4, because this is damning here. So Baier's going to go like, you were there, dude. Did you not notice that Biden couldn't like put sentences together and was falling asleep at meetings and was walking into walls and was going to pee in the bushes and stuff? You know, the video's out there, right? There is a video from around the time of the infamous debate with Trump where Biden tells his handler, I'm just going to go out on smell the roses in the rose garden. So he walks out there and he looks around like, where am I? And then you see him walk off literally into the bushes. And his Secret Service guy is like, what the? This is a presidential question. So did you deceive the American Schursons on the health of the president or the regime leader?
Let me ask you this, Madam Vice President. You call Donald Trump.
The significance of that.
You call Donald Trump He's misguided. You say now
He's
he
unstable.
Is unstable.
He is unstable, Brett.
He's not well. You say he's mentally not stable.
He's not stable.
Let me ask you this. You told many interviewers that Joe Biden was on his game, that ran around circles on his staff. When did you first notice that President Biden's mental faculties appeared diminished?
Joe Biden, I have watched from the Oval Office to the Situation Room, and he has the judgment and the experience to do exactly what he has done in making very important decisions on behalf of the American people.
There were no concerns raised?
Brett, Joe Biden is not on the ballot.
I understand.
And Donald Trump
But
is.
You talked about it.
And Donald Trump
After George Clooney said within a few minutes of talking to President Biden at a fundraiser that he thought this was not the same Joe Biden that we saw on the debate stage.
Donald Trump is on the ballot.
I understand. You met with him at least once a week for 3.5 years.
He's asking about your judgment,
you didn't have
dumbass.
Any concerns?
I think the American people have a concern about Donald Trump, which is why the people who know him best, including leaders of our national security community, have all spoken out. Even people who worked for him in the Oval Office, worked with him in the Situation Room, and have said he is unfit and dangerous and should never be president of the United States again, including his former vice president, which is why the job was open for him to choose another running mate. So that is a fact. That is a fact.
Biden's job was open. That's a fact. You were there. That's a fact. For 3.5 years, that's a fact. 3 days before the old man was pulled out, you said, no, Joe's, you talk about sharp. I've never seen anyone so sharp. The question was, did you not recognize the decline? If you couldn't recognize the senile dementia decline in an old man, how were you supposed to go and sit across the table from industry and world leaders and diplomats and what have you and presidents of foreign countries and size them up? If you couldn't even tell that Biden was debilitated, or you actually knew, but you just thought it was like a cackle, a Kamala joke, and you didn't care, and you just laughed it off. You know, I might have asked the question, since you were there for 3.5 years, did it not matter to you and the security of your family that the president, the regime leader of the United States, was debilitated, was like mentally, and he wasn't there? Wasn't that a concern to you? I mean, there's different ways you could answer the question. All right, now go to the next one. This is on the tranny laws. This is a lock, stock, and two smoking barrels, you're guilty. Question and answer. 5. You did say, I mean, here, let me roll he plays the Trump campaign ad. And then Harris's response is, well, here.
Quite seriously.
This is a time when voters, especially here in Pennsylvania, are inundated with commercials and ads. They just want it to stop because it's every commercial. But many of them add noise, but a few of them seem to break through. This particular one from the Trump campaign has gotten a lot of attention.
Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners.
Surgery.
For prisoners.
For prisoners. Every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access.
So are you still in support of using taxpayer dollars to help prison inmates or detained illegal aliens to transition to another gender?
I will follow the law, and it's a law that Donald Trump actually followed. You're probably familiar with, now it's a public report, that under Donald Trump's administration, these surgeries were available on a medical necessity basis to people in the federal prison system. And I think, frankly, that ad from the Trump campaign is a little bit of like throwing, stones when you're living in a glass house.
The Trump aides say that he never advocated for that prison policy and no gender transition surgeries
you know what? You got to take responsible for what happened in your administration.
Yeah, no surgeries happened in his presidency.
Stop the tape! Did she just say you're responsible for what happens in your administration? Can you back it up 10 seconds? I want to make sure I heard that correctly. Sorry, Brett, you're responsible for what happens in your administration. Oh, really?
Well, you know
Surgeries
what? You got to
happened
take
during
responsible for what
his
happened in your
presidency.
administration.
Yeah, no surgeries happened in his
She didn't get it. You got to take responsible for what happened. Actually, if you're going to quote her, and I did, you got to take responsible for what happens in your administration. Unless you're then you just deny and say, no, it was all Trump's fault. And guess what? The surgeries were available when he was president, too, you see.